Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video we are talking all about skincare and specifically skincare basics on a budget. I'm sure many of you guys can relate to being completely overwhelmed when it comes to skincare. There are so many skincare lines and skincare brands, not to mention price points when it comes to skincare out there. It's really hard to know where to start. But today I'm going to be talking to you guys more about the process of taking care of your skin and specific things I like to do and things I like to use to just do kind of the basics. Now I'm 37 this year and I definitely am kind of at that point where I'm looking into investing a little bit more into my skincare. I kind of feel like the basics are probably no longer enough. But up until this point, my skincare routine has been very, very basic and very simple, very affordable. So I thought I'd talk to you guys about that today because I think regardless of what your budget is, all of us can afford to take care of our skin. And I think ultimately it comes down more to just taking the time and consistently doing things that are going to kind of help our skin to be at its best. Keep in mind this is coming just from my opinion, my experience. I am by no means a skincare expert, but these are just the things that I've done over the years that I feel like make me at least feel like I'm taking good care of my skin. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. So when it comes to skincare, we all know that the very first step is a good cleanser. Finding a good cleanser, I think is kind of specific to what type of skin that you have, but one that I've been using that I think would work for a broad range of people is from Cetaphil. It's the Cetaphil Daily Cleansing Facial Bar. I have been using this very basic cleanser for the last 11 years. So when I was 28, I was pregnant with one of my children and I had major cystic acne. So I went to visit a dermatologist during that pregnancy and she actually recommended some items from the Cetaphil line as an alternative to higher end, more expensive skincare. And this is one of the things that she recommended to me. And I've been using it ever since. I absolutely love this stuff. It's very, very simple. It's very, very basic, but it cleans my skin without stripping my skin too much. I can use it to remove my makeup and it does a really good job removing everything as long as I'm not wearing anything too waterproof. And of course, it's very affordable, which is a huge bonus for me. You can get this at pretty much any drugstore for around $3 to $5 depending on where you get it. And as a bonus, you can also use it to clean your beauty blenders and your makeup brushes, which, let's be honest, I do not clean my makeup brushes nearly as much as I should. Now, the next step that I love to do in my skincare routine is a really good serum. I know there's some really great serums out there, but if you are someone that cannot afford to spend a lot of money on a good serum, try Marshall's or TJ Maxx. I've been getting my serums there for quite a long time, and I've been really happy with the majority of the ones I purchased there. So a couple that I would recommend that I most like for my skin personally. Did I mention I had dry skin? That's probably a really important point that I should have made at the beginning of the video, but I'll mention it now. I have dry skin. And one serum that I really love for my skin is rosehip seed oil. I love the feeling that rosehip seed oil gives to my skin. I typically apply it in the morning immediately after I have washed my face, and I feel like it just makes my skin feel a little bit more plump and tight, but in like a good way. Not like in a dry tight, just a little bit more firm. That's a better word. Sometimes if I have a separate hyaluronic acid, I'll mix those two together and apply them together. I think it kind of comes down to some trial and error, seeing what you love, seeing what your skin really loves. But if you don't have overly sensitive skin, I would definitely recommend trying a TJ Maxx or Marshall's for your serums because typically you can find them for between $5 and $10, which is a really, really great price. Another serum that I will use on occasion is a vitamin C serum. Vitamin C is supposed to help with kind of the overall tone of your skin. It's supposed to help just the brightness of your skin. If you have issues with hyperpigmentation or melasma, it's supposed to help diminish the signs of hyperpigmentation. So again, it kind of just depends on what you're looking for. And the last serum that I really love is the good glycolic acid. And now glycolic acid is an AHA, which means it's a chemical exfoliant. But most of the glycolic acids, especially the ones that you're going to find at your TJ Maxx or your Marshalls, they're usually pretty low percentages of acid, which means that they're not going to be overly harsh or strong. But I do feel like a good glycolic acid serum makes a big difference in how the texture is on my skin. I see a difference in just kind of the size of my pores and just the overall smoothness of my skin, especially kind of along this area of my face. I feel like it really helps to kind of even out any sort of texture that I might have there. Now I know that not all serums are created equally, but some of us can't afford to spend $90 on a serum. And so I think if you are one of those people, I think a TJ Maxx or Marshalls is a really great place to find something that's going to help your skin that's not going to cost you to an arm and a leg. I've had a lot of success with the serums that I've found from there. I've had very few that have kind of not worked out for me or have caused any sort of issues with my skin. Keep in mind, I do not have overly sensitive skin. My skin doesn't often break out from any sort of skincare products or even from makeup, really. If you are a little bit more sensitive, you might want to be a little more cautious about what you try out. But I've definitely found some things that I really like from TJ Maxx and Marshalls. So moving on to the next skincare item that I think is an absolute essential, and that is a good sunscreen. Now, I have made it a habit for the last 5 years to apply sunscreen to my face every single day. Regardless of what time of year it is or regardless of what my plans are for the day, I find myself outside kind of unexpectedly pretty much every single day. Either someone has to be taken to practice or I need to make a run to the grocery store. I pretty much am outside at least once or twice a day, even on days when I have no plans to go anywhere. And anytime you are outside, you are exposed to the rays of the sun. So if I can do something to help protect my skin from the sun's harmful rays, I'm gonna do that every single day. So that's just something I think is super important, and not just because the sun tends to exacerbate hyperpigmentation or the aging process, but also skin cancer and all those like terrible things that can be caused by sun damage. I love the idea of having my skin protected from the sun. So the sunscreen that I've been using for the last several years is just the basic Neutrogena Ultra Sheer Dry Touch sunscreen. I get it in the SPF 50. Now, I'm not going to say that this is the best feeling sunscreen on your skin. It feels like a sunscreen, and I do not enjoy how sunscreen feels on my skin. It does feel a little bit heavy, it feels a little bit greasy, and honestly I've tried quite a few from the drugstore over the years, and they all tend to feel that way on my skin. But here's what I have found. If I put my sunscreen on and let it absorb for 15 to 20, even 30 minutes before I finish off with the rest of my skincare, I feel like that heavy feeling tends to kind of go away, and I don't feel like it feels thick or heavy or greasy for the entire day. Now, I have heard a lot of people talk about some higher end sunscreens that don't give your skin that heavy, greasy kind of feeling that a typical sunscreen does. If you guys have recommendations on a product like that, please leave it in the comments below, because I think that would be helpful for all of us, because some of us that can afford to buy a good sunscreen might really find that information helpful. One more thing to note when it comes to sunscreen: remember that your face is not the only thing that needs to be protected from the sun. You also want to make sure that you put sunscreen all over your neck, even your upper chest and the backs of your hands, because I promise you guys, if you are someone that's like 30 or under, give yourself 8 years. You're going to look down at your hands and think to yourself, why do my hands look like they're 80? Because that sun can be brutal on your hands. Make sure that you're putting sunscreen on the back of your hands. I wish I would have come to that knowledge before I was like 33, because I really think maybe my hands would look a little better than they do right now. They definitely don't look fantastic. So moving on to my last basic skincare recommendation, and that's just a good moisturizer. So the moisturizer I have been using for the last 8 or 9 years is Cetaphil Moisturizing Lotion. This, again, you can get at pretty much any drugstore. It's very affordable. I want to say this entire bottle is like $7 or $8. And I love how this works for my skin. It gives me the perfect level of moisture. It's very rich, but it's not heavy. So it moisturizes my skin well, but it does not feel greasy on my skin. It absorbs really well into my skin, and it doesn't break the bank. I love using this. My husband uses this. I even use this on my kids when they, like in the wintertime, when they get that kind of borderline eczema skin. I do want to mention though, I read the reviews on this on Ulta's website, and it didn't get the best reviews, which, I don't know. I'm sure there probably are better moisturizers out there. This is just the one that I find to work for me, and I've been using it for a long time, and honestly I don't see any reason to change things up. So this is the one that I would recommend, but again, I know there are other moisturizers out there. So one more thing I want to mention before we close out this video. Now today we're talking all about affordable, kind of drugstore, budget-friendly skincare items, but I am currently testing out some items from Drunk Elephant. I wanted to see if all the hype is real, if these products really work for someone in their late 30s that have some real light skincare concerns. So keep an eye out for that review video. It will be coming very soon. Alright guys, and that is it for my skincare on a budget. Again, I just want to emphasize that these are just the things that have worked for me over the last many years. If you guys have things that you would recommend, please leave them in the comments below, because I would love to get some discussion going. What products do you find to work really well for your skin? Whether those be drugstore affordable items or high-end items that you have found really good results with. I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for stopping by my channel. I hope that if you are not subscribed yet, you will hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye. I'd love to hear your comments and thoughts below. Cannot have spent cannot spend. But I got a message from the YouTube officials that said you can't have a YouTube channel without using Drunk Elephant. I'm totally kidding, of course.